Hi, this is Joe again with another review. Instead of doing movies, I know since we're in October, I was doing a Halloween themed videos lately with scary movies and horror films. But this time I'm going to do a review of television shows that had at least one Halloween themed episode. And of course, most recently, that's when people were supposed to be Halloween shows with either The Big Bang Theory or The Simpsons with the Treehouse of Horror. I can't really do a review on the Big Bang Theory because I haven't really seen those episodes. But I have seen some clips, and they're dressed up as superheroes or Justice League or something, and it's basically some kind of wacky adventure on those shows. Well, The Simpsons I can, and when The Simpsons started doing the horror movie themes, they took 3 stories, usually from either a classic horror film. They did one with Frankenstein, the Man with 2 Heads. They did most of the time when the early shows were on Halloween shows. They did Twilight Zone episodes, which were pretty good, I guess, because they ran out of the Twilight Zone episodes, at least the classic ones. They did all these crazy, spooky stories, and it was not as good as it was the first few shows. But it's still the most eagerly waited episodes of the whole year because of how good those episodes are. But I want to single out some of the other shows that maybe not too many people have seen. But one in particular is this episode is on YouTube. It's from the television show Our House, which lasted for 2 seasons on NBC on Sunday night. And unfortunately, it didn't. Like I said, it only lasted 2 seasons, but it was a very, very good show. And so Wilford Brimley, of course, people know him now for doing all those diabetes commercial television. And Deidre Hall, who's on, of course, on Days of Our Lives, the soap opera. As a matter of fact, after the first season of Our House, she actually left Days of Our Lives to do the second season of Our House. Since Our House was renewed for a second year, she left Days of Our Lives to do Our House. But then when Our House was canceled, she went back to doing Days of Our Lives. Then you have the Doors. You have 3 kids. Deidre Hall on the show had 3 kids, and the oldest one played by a very young Shannon Doherty, who I think was about 15 years old at the time she first did Our House. So it was like before 90210. And you had Chen Allen, and you had Carrie O'Houlihan, I forgot her last name, who played the youngest girl, Molly. And you can see practically all those episodes on YouTube. Somebody posted all those episodes. So those of you who never seen it, look for it on YouTube. It's very good. And the episode, they had 2 Halloween shows, each one for the 2 seasons. And the second one, well again to the first one, but when the second one, they did a one with the haunted house type storyline, where David and his friend was checking out this haunted house, and which, typical haunted house story for Halloween. But for the first episode, in the first Halloween show, was titled Small Steps. So if you look for Our House Season 1, Small Steps, you see this episode, you see it pretty much complete. And it was, in case of those of you who don't know what Our House is, it was a show where, so it's Wilford Brimley, Deidre Hall. And Wilford Brimley plays a guy named Gus Witherspoon, who lets his daughter, because his son recently died, and he let his daughter-in-law, played by Deidre Hall, and the 3 grandkids move into his house. So that's the basic premise of the show. And of course, throughout each episode, it says on somebody in that family. And the first holiday that they had with them living in the house, or Gus's house, was called Halloween. So Gus wanted to make a good holiday because it's the first holiday them living there with them. And actually, of course, Shannon Doherty goes out to her character goes out to a Halloween party. She gets dressed up like Madonna. And Gus didn't know Madonna. He didn't know about her. So he thought that she was going to be dressed up like the Virgin, like the Madonna statue. The religious Madonna, not the pop star. And then Deidre Hall corrects him, takes a magazine out with a picture of Madonna in it, and she goes, "This is Madonna." And he goes, "Oh," and that's about it. Just goes, okay. But the main plot is that the youngest daughter Molly wanted to go trick or treating with her friend, and her friend got chicken pox, so she couldn't go out trick or treating with her friend. So Gus says, "Okay, I'll take you out trick or treating." And instead of going door to door, throughout the whole neighborhood, but Molly, who's the granddaughter, says, "I got a better idea," and they go to the mall. Which I never heard of going trick or treating in a mall instead of going door to door. Well, I happen to live in a co-op in Queens, New York, and I used to go do my whole entire. When I was a trick or treat age, I used to do my entire building, and it has 18 floors in it. It has 144 apartments in it. So I usually get a pretty good haul for Halloween. That's been doing one building. I mean, co-op has 7 buildings, so you can imagine what kind of a haul you get if you had to be lucky enough or fast enough to do all 7 buildings. And anyway, like I said, she's going door to door, so going store to store, I should say, instead of door to door. And Gus says, "Why are we doing this?" And Mike says, "Oh, because my teacher recommended this because it would be safer. Instead of going door to door, because you know what kind of weirdos there are in the house. In particular houses in the neighborhood." And Gus says, "Yeah, but I know most of the people, and they're okay." And he says, "Yeah, but my teacher recommended this way, so I'm going to do it this way." And Gus says, "Oh, okay, whatever, if it's a good idea, you do it." And so she was going, and Gus was getting a kick out of the granddaughter going door to door, and he meets another parent, and he says, "Well, this is such a hassle. Taking the kids out trick or treating is such a hassle." And Gus says to him, "I think this is a great idea. The kids are having fun. That's the most important thing, is the kids having fun. And getting a kick of watching my granddaughter having fun." And the father looks at her and says, "Yeah, I can see your point, but I still think this is, lousy going to the mall as well, and also to think trick or treating is a hassle." And then after, when Molly goes to all the stores and gets all kinds of candy apples and so forth, and says, "Oh, before we pick up David and Chris, because David went to a movie, and then Chris, like I mentioned earlier, went to a Halloween party. Says, oh, let's go to before we pick them up, we have one more stop to make." And Gus says, "Okay, where?" And says, "It's an emergency room." This is an emergency room, and it's to X-ray the Halloween candy that she got. Even though that she claimed it was quote unquote safer, being in the mall, they're going door to door in the neighborhood. She still wanted to have the X-ray, the candy X-ray. And while Molly was in the bathroom, he got the candy back from the nurse, and the nurse says, "Oh, here's your candy, it's so safe." And Gus says, "I can't believe that we have to X-ray Halloween candy. I mean, when I was a kid going trick or treating, we never had to do that." And the nurse says, "Well, there's all kinds of nuts out there." And then Molly comes back and says, and Gus says, "So, is this type of stuff is making you kids grow up too fast. And I think that's disgusting that your kids have to grow up so fast. And you make it more real, face reality a little bit sooner than you should have had to face reality. You have the X-ray Halloween candy is a disgrace." Well, this particular episode aired about 4 years after the 1982 candy scare, which was the last year I went trick-or-treating, because people were actually putting in pins and razor blades and various candy bars. I don't think you have it so much today because, like I said, everybody's more careful about it now, especially the candy companies, because that's where people starting, the workers were putting pins and razor blades and all sorts of garbage in candy bars that's not supposed to be in it. And so that was the episode of Our House. And I know I'm going to skip around with shows. The Cosby Show did a pretty good one. I think it was the second season, I'm not exactly sure which season this episode was. It was a season where Bill Cosby, or Vanessa, who was like the middle daughter, the third oldest daughter, had a Halloween party in the Huxtable house. And while she was having the party, Cliff, of course played by Bill Cosby, of course, gets roped in to take Rudy out trick-or-treating. And of course, he gets annoyed that he's going to get roped into going trick-or-treating with Rudy. And Claire, or played by Felicia Rashad, says, "Oh, come on, Cliff, it'll be fun." And Bill Cosby says, "Oh, why don't we call it what it is? Begging." And of course, by the time you get to the fifth house, you don't say trick or treat, you say, "Well, what you got left over?" Well, what you got left. And Claire reminds him, "Oh yeah, how about there was this one boy that I know was still trick or treating when he was 15, and the day after Halloween, you have to go out to the whole neighborhood and say, what you got left?" And of course, Cliff answers back, "That's when your parents gave me you." And of course, that got a big laugh. So that was the episode. Well, I think they had another episode with Halloween on the Cosby Show, but I don't remember. And I remember now because of the begging line. And then you have, of course, Home Improvement. Was here, of course, during the 90s. That was about every year during the. I think it was on for like 8 or 9 years, and that was about every year they had a Halloween show. And the first couple of ones were pretty good. They had one where they had a Halloween party for Brad and the kids in the basement, made it to a haunted house. And another year when they had more of an adult party, Halloween party, and all the three boys that Tim Allen's supposed to have had on the show, they all dressed up like Moe from the Three Stooges. And the wife and the mother says, "Oh, how come you all dress the same?" And so it's supposed to be the Three Stooges. And Brad says, "Yeah, but we all want to be Moe. Because they all like Moe, so they all want to be Moe, so all dress up like him." And then, of course, there was also the same episode where Tim was supposed to have like an obsessed fan. And we were all a big Halloween prank because Tim had a habit of pulling Halloween pranks on everybody. Like a bloody head popping up from somewhere, like in the oven or through a wall, or you open up a toolbox and out pops a head. And so the family and all the friends and co-workers got tired of this stuff, so they pulled this prank on him. And pretty much Home Improvement, they had some other good ones as well. They went a witch one, where the neighbor Wilson was killed by a witch, and they had another one with a scary guy. It was like a murder, there was a ghost in the house. And some pretty good ones, but by the time they ended the series, pretty much bad, episodes, Halloween episodes. But the first couple of years, they had pretty good Halloween episodes. Of course, another show that I remember having Halloween shows was the classic show Happy Days during the 70s. And of course, the very first Halloween show they had was when Ralph Malph, who was played by Donnie Most, had a Halloween party in this disputed haunted house. And I think this old abandoned house where an old woman lost her head, and anybody who goes in there gets attacked by this, ghost of this headless woman. And Richie goes in there and checks it out and gets scared because he saw a headless body in there, even though it was just a dummy. And when she found out later on, it was just a dummy in the closet that Ralph found, and he popped it up just to scare Richie. And so, but there was a pretty good episode that one. It was like the first one. Then he had another one where it was also pretty good, pretty funny too. It was where Fonzie had to have his tonsils taken out on Halloween. Remember, there was no inconsistency there going, because if you watch the episode they just mentioned, Fonzie talks about when he was a kid, maybe 4 or 5 years old, goes to the hospital to have his tonsils taken out on Halloween. So they did that. He mentioned that he already had his tonsils out, and now in this episode he actually does have his tonsils taken out. So there's a little, inconsistency with the storyline there. But that was a pretty good one because he got stuck instead of being in an adult room. He got stuck with the kids in the kids ward because all these other kids were having the tonsils taken out too on Halloween. And all the kids are bummed out because they weren't going out trick or treating. So finally, he said, let's go trick or treating in the hospital. And one of the kids says, what, are you crazy? To go trick or treating in the hospital? You're nuts? Said, no, it'll be fun. So some of the kids got like those sticks, or they get a like a fake thermometer or something like that. And there's this one girl in the group. He says, "Oh, poor Fonzie, all he got was the nurse's phone numbers." And he said, "Well, these are my treats, kids. These are my treats." Now, of course, later on, he tells it like a scary story for these kids, which was, it was entertaining. And of course, they had one where Al gets cursed with a witch. I remember that one. And in the earlier part of that episode, when Al thought it was cursed by this little old lady, Ralph, the band, with Ralph, Richie, and Potsy, I think, and Chachi was the drummer. Ralph performed the song, the Monster Mash song, which of course was the Halloween song. Even though nowadays everybody, because Michael Jackson died, now everybody goes out and does a Thriller dance on Halloween. But the real big hit or Halloween song for me is the Monster Mash. Anyway, that's with Happy Days. They had a couple of episodes, but then there was pretty much the good episodes that appeared on Halloween themed shows, which is I think Frasier. When Frasier was on the air, they did some Halloween shows, but it's not as good as maybe other shows that I mentioned already, which is really a shame because there's not really all that good Halloween episodes on television anymore. Now everything's with the stupid Halloween parties, and never really does really a spooky story. Doesn't give the audience a good scare on television. But that's my review for. I know it went pretty quick with these episodes. A quick review of them. But that's my reviews of episodes that had a Halloween themed episode. And I hope you enjoyed this particular video. Please like it down below or subscribe up above. And maybe I'll do other Halloween themed shows because I haven't thrown open any other ones yet. Well, catch you. Hope you enjoy the videos and catch you next time.